The Road Motorsport team are normally out 2 or 3 times in a month, either testing or racing at various circuits around the UK. But the Britcar 24-hour race is very much the centrepiece of our year. It's a very different event, and it becomes far more about the team than it does about an individual driver. In 2008 we built up an MR2 Roadster and we went racing. And we were delighted after the race to find that a fan had created a version of the car that you could download and play in Forza Motorsport 2. Returning in 2011 with a massively upgraded car, 3.5 litre supercharged V6 engine, it seemed the ideal opportunity to contact Forza Motorsport and see if they'd be interested in collaborating with us. As we've got more involved in the Britcar 24-hour race, the specification of our car has improved. We've gone from a 1.8 litre to a 3.5 litre to a supercharged 3.5 litre, but there are other aspects of the car that we've tweaked as well. And the principles of modification are exactly the same in Forza Motorsport 4. You can soup up the engine, but if you don't do the brakes and the handling to match, you're going to find at the first corner where everybody else turns, you're just going to go straight on.
If you compare a sort of standard sprint race car to an endurance car, we add in all kinds of things like oil coolers, brake ducting, venting, that kind of stuff. Temperatures are one of the biggest things we have to deal with. You know, it's the car's running for 24 hours solid, so you've got to try and build in as much reliability as possible. Not only is the 24-hour race a great event to get involved with from a motorsport point of view, it's also great from a publicity point of view. This year we had Toyota and Forza Motorsport there. We had a pre-release version of the Forza Motorsport 4 game, and we had crowds of people around the garage looking at the car, looking at the game. It was great.
The involvement of Forza Motorsport 4 this year really helped to give the team a sense of identity and a sense of cohesion. We found that people could identify with us very quickly. The programmes that are given out for the Britcar 24-hour race include space for you to collect autographs from the drivers, and quite often we were the first team where everybody collected all 4 autographs, simply because we were easy to spot. The day qualifying sets the grid position for the team, and we were quite pleased to qualify in 34th position, puts us approximately midway through the grid. It's a rolling start with the Britcar 24-hour race, which means that the traffic is very bunched up to begin with. Later on in the race, as it progresses, they'll start to spread out a bit, but you really have to have a driver starting the race that's confident with traffic around him. So we started with Simon Harris in the driver's seat. He's very experienced, very confident driver, and particularly well suited to starting the race.
Gentlemen, we are coming very close to the hour at which we start the 6th annual. Surge towards Cox Corner for the first time. It's going to be Nick Williams that takes the lead around the outside.
So over the course of a 24-hour endurance race, you do well over 1,000 miles, and you do well over 1,000 miles absolutely flat out. It's nothing like driving a normal car on the road. It would probably see 6 months to a year's worth of duty in a weekend. As a driver in the Britcar, it's very much mixed emotions. On the one hand, it's motor racing, it's exciting, it's fun, you've waited a long time for it, and it's concentrated. You're getting more motorsport in a very short amount of time than you normally get in a season. On the other hand, it's very, very physically and mentally demanding, particularly for us this year in a car that was so much faster than last year's car. It's very difficult to switch off, and at the same time you're so exhausted, your body just shuts down.
You can build the most reliable car in the world, but as soon as that car gets out on track, you don't know what's going to happen. So having a good, reliable car is one thing, but you've got to have a good, reliable team behind it to keep that car going.
Yeah, you need a good team. You need a team who know the car, and the effort that's put in beforehand in preparing the car is often weekends, late nights. The guys are dedicated to it. They know it inside out, and although we hope to never see it that way, they know it upside down.
A great example for the passion for this event is we've got guys who haven't actually worked with us for 2 or 3 years come back every year to get back involved with the Britcar 24-hour. You know, it just shows their commitment to the event.
As a driver, you were totally reliant on the support of the guys in the pits. You know that they're there for you, you know that they're keeping an eye out for you, and that you have the radio communication to tell them of any problems that you've got. And it just helps them to prepare for when the car gets back to the pit lane. Nighttime driving is a whole different ballgame to driving in the light. The first thing that you become aware of is just how little you can see. The car runs an extra 6 lights on it, so you have a total of 8 lights illuminating your way. If you're driving in the rain, the faster cars can only go as fast as they can brake. And so if you're in something that's a little bit quicker than normal, but maybe slightly off the top cars, it helps you out a bit. The dark's the same. You can only really drive as fast as you can see, and you'll suddenly find cars that would leave you in their dust in the daytime are actually quite easily catchable and overtaken at night. Given the changes that we've made to the car this year with the supercharger and the increased performance, we felt that we would stand a very good chance at working our way up the order. And initially that's certainly what happened. What we hadn't counted on were the high ambient temperatures. It had to be the hottest October we've had for many a year, with outside temperatures during the day reaching 29 degrees. Totally unheard of. We'd planned for a much colder and hopefully damper race.
Oh, we need the car in the garage. We need the garage.
I think it's fairly safe to say for us it was a race of 2 halves. The first half of the race we did very well. We got as high as 12th at one point, and I believe we actually pitted from 12th and rejoined in 13th. So it was a position that we'd earned and held on to, rather than just being lucky with pit stops. Unfortunately, parts of the car did start to wear out. And that's all it was. I mean, the higher G-forces, the higher speeds, the increased duration started to take its toll on some of the drivetrain components. In previous years, we've gone along with the mentality that for us to finish a 24-hour race is a victory. And that's been our primary concern. And this year, we were confident we were going to finish, so we wanted to finish well. As things started to go wrong for us, the heat contributing to the problems that we had with the car, our expectations of where we were going to finish changed, and we felt there was a very definite point where we said, we just need to finish now. If your car breaks down during the race, the marshals will do their best to recover it back to the pit lane so that you can pull it into the garage and fix it and continue. The exception to that is within the last half an hour. Unfortunately, 23 3/4 hours through the race, our car suffered failure out on the circuit and limped to a safe place.
The car has died. The engine will not run.
In the end, it turned out to be something as simple as a fuse that had popped to the engine management system, which in turn controls the engine. And I know the driver in at the time, Lee McKee, frantically wiggled wires and tried to get the thing to come back to life, but to no avail. It was about 5 minutes after the flag dropped that the car actually returned to the pit. To a hero's welcome. You know, we loved the event, we loved the team's performance at the event. We all thought we'd done really well, and the people around us thought so too.
A 24-hour race is a complex thing to plan for. You can never plan for every eventuality, and that's the simple thing of it. So we do the best we can, we learn from our mistakes, and we go from there.
So this is the third 24-hour race we've done, and every time we come away and we say we've learned so much, and this time has been no exception. Every year we improve, we do better, we learn, we adapt, and we grow. And we are confident very confident that when we come back next year, we'll do even better.